There are many aesthetic symbols of Oscar success. Black and white, a period setting, biographical subjects, classical music, queer subject matter. Bradley Cooper's newest film, Maestro, has all of these. It's a partly black and white, period piece, biographical romance about Leonard Bernstein, perhaps the most famous American conductor and composer, exploring his relationship with his wife and identity as a queer man. Today, by analysing the film through two of these aesthetic markers, its treatment of queer subtext and of classical music, we're going to tease out exactly what makes a film Oscar bait beyond just the black and white.
Any performer leads a kind of public life, whereas a creative person sits alone in this great studio that you see here and lives a rather grand inner life rather than a grand outer life.
This line is emblematic of how Bradley Cooper wants us to read the film. In every scene, there is a public display, an affectionate and extroverted Bernstein who loves people.
I love too much, what can I say? But I'm reining it in. I'm reining it in!
But then Cooper wants the audience to analyse the subtext of the film, to try and figure out the inside. On the surface, it is just Bernstein being charismatic, as his clarinetist meets Felicia for the first time.
Broadway star.
Oh, no.
But the performances become awkward, and the editor only cuts between close-ups on Felicia and the clarinetist.
I didn't mean to spring that on you.
No, that's all right.
So, despite it ending again with extroverted Bernstein,
Come on, little birdie.
the well-directed scene shows us the subtext that Bernstein's queerness will end up hurting the people he loves. The problem arises as this kind of scene is repeated over and over again in the film, without any evolution. Bernstein is being his outwardly charismatic self.
Did you just appear out of my handkerchief?
Yes, I live here now.
Are you?
Then, remember, he's attracted to men.
So I'm saying that I needed to.
And finally, this hurts the family.
Lenny, is this all Felicia's idea?
I had nothing to do with that. That's her paintings as well.
So beautiful.
Lenny.
We never know why Bernstein keeps having the affairs. Instead, we just see the public performative persona again and again.
Feigning
I'm sorry to
honesty
just
and
admit it,
love.
but that's the
But
truth.
above all, you love people. And
I
it's
do
from
love
that
people.
wellspring of love the complications arise in your life.
That's exactly
Wake up.
right.
This monologue is probably the most insight we ever get into how he feels inside. But in this scene too, Bradley Cooper makes sure he's not actually opening up truthfully, but carefully crafting his image for a biographer writing his upcoming book.
And the other is that I love people so much that it's hard for me to be alone.
In this way, Bradley Cooper has layered the scene with subtext and an intellectual aesthetic, but after watching the film, I don't know what life must have felt like for Leonard Bernstein. He must have had the biggest internal struggle trying to choose between a sense of normalcy for his career and his family, or living his truth and hurting those even more. But Cooper never chooses to fully engage with his subject and explore the drama of what this decision-making must have been. Just looking at the cinematography will reveal the perspective of the film. We rarely ever get Bernstein's own perspective. Take a moment like this kiss, for example. Does Bernstein feel nervous here, afraid to be cheating on his wife when she is next door? Maybe he is completely fearless, acting on impulse. Unfortunately, it's difficult to tell because the camera is all the way back here, objective, distant, and judgmental.
Faggot ass. What the fuck you waiting on?
Do it.
Come on. Let's go.
It feels like Bradley Cooper doesn't really care what it's like to live life as a queer person. He's almost even afraid to put himself into that perspective. He only seems to care about the aesthetic of queerness as subtext in his Oscar-worthy filmmaking. Now, we've yet to talk about the biggest sin of the film, the music. There are many incidental scenes in the film that show Bernstein performing or composing music. But they are always hampered by Cooper's need to fill them with subtext about something else. The opening plotline, where Cooper conducts as a last-minute replacement, fades out the actual performance, and later scenes only show the rush of public approval.
He thinks I could be the first great American conductor.
There's also a longer choral scene here, but it's framed around the marriage, and then again the affair.
That's because I made it up, my dear boy.
The same happens for this composition.
I have finished last. Where's Mommy going?
We can take a look at Amadeus as an example of a film that does really effectively show the protagonist's love for music.
Herr Salieri composed this little march of welcome for you.
Really? Keep it, Majesty, if you want. It's already here in my head.
What? On one hearing only?
Better? What do you think?
In Amadeus, Mozart's passion and skill for music is a central character trait that is endlessly entertaining and drives the story forward. Mozart also has clear and strong musical politics, which form large plot points in the film, showing not only his contributions to revamping music of the time, but also his bold personality.
Which one of you wouldn't rather listen to his hairdresser than Hercules? Or Horatius? Or Orpheus? People so lofty they sound as if they shit marble!
Where music appears in Maestro, it is static scenes of composing or performing, where the audience is forced to infer what the music means to Bernstein. But by writing conflicts about the music itself, Amadeus shows us that music is about freedom and fighting for what you love. And with clever subjective filmmaking techniques, Foreman actually puts us into Mozart's head, showing Mozart's obsessive genius as he hears music in everything.
You selfish thing! Selfish, that's what you are, selfish! Simply selfish! You hear me?
The Leonard Bernstein of Maestro, however, doesn't feel like someone to whom music is important, because music never drives the plot forward. There's a 5-minute scene where Bernstein conducts Mahler 2, and by itself, it is a brilliant idea executed well. It should be a big moment of catharsis, where all the repressed emotions are released through Bernstein's greatest love, music. But because the film hasn't shown us his love for music or what his repressed emotions are, we don't actually know what's going on in Bernstein's head here, and so we can't emotionally connect with him. Cooper opens Maestro with the following quote: "A work of art does not answer questions, it provokes them, and its essential meaning is in the tension between the contradictory answers." By presenting the relationship drama of Bernstein's life in this distant, objective style, Bradley Cooper wants to provoke audiences to read between the lines and find answers about Leonard Bernstein in contradictory facts of his personal life. However, by leaning too hard into this aesthetic and forgetting to deeply engage with the parts of Leonard Bernstein's life that would have mattered the most to the real-life man, Bradley Cooper doesn't emotionally engage with his own subject, and has therefore created a film that stands out as a great example of Oscar bait filmmaking.